A very warm welcome back to the Toron Arena in Krakow for the PGL Major in Krakow. We have just 2 matches left to go, and the small matter of the show match, of course, tomorrow. But we are concentrating on our semi-finals today as we head into the last one of the day. Just 3 teams remain in contention for the Major, not a single one of them currently in the top 10 on HLTV. What a surprise Major it is. We are going ahead with Immortals versus Virtus.pro next up. Players are just getting themselves ready out on the main stage, of course, and getting themselves set up. We're all set up on the desk, though, as we're back with Moses and with Yanko. Jason, it's been a tumultuous Major, I think we have to say, and yeah, no one would have had any of these 3 teams necessarily in with a shot for the final championship outside of the top 10.
I think Virtus.pro is obviously the one that you
take
out because of the crowd factor. Yeah, it's pulling, it's major, all that good stuff that we repeat every time.
But you never picked these 3, would you? As the
no,
last 3
certainly
left.
not. Especially with Immortals, how many times they've struggled to get here. Gambit, especially the crazy thing about this Gambit run is, every time you talk to them leading into this event, and like even early on at this event, they're just like, yeah, the boot camp went horrible. Like we were fighting, no efficient practice whatsoever. And it's funny how that kind of works out. Yeah, exactly. And now they're just destroying everyone. They've only dropped 1 map, so that's insanity.
The key.
Yeah.
It's the key, Yanko. Lose every match in practice, have a terrible boot camp coming in, play brilliant at the Major.
I think everyone would, be okay with that. Better than to have an amazing practice, skip events, feel super prepared, and then you come and then you lose to a team that you weren't really expecting to lose. But yeah, Gambit obviously the crazy story so far because they've actually had a couple of upset wins. For Immortals, on the other side of things, they did have to play big in the quarterfinals, so they could have gotten some tougher draws potentially, but they're a team that right now has nothing to lose. They are aware they're playing against a VP that's in front of a home crowd, and if Immortals come into the game without any pressure, start playing super loose, then they have a potential chance of an upset here.
Well, that's kind of it, isn't it, Jason? And that's kind of what Gambit came into that semi-final. They're like, we've exceeded expectations, we already wanted to be legends again, and we've now made the semi-finals top 4, more cash, more prestige. Nothing to lose against Astralis, best team on the planet right now. Exactly,
and I think part of that is why we've seen so many individual performances from some of these teams that are coming out of nowhere, like Mo with his overpass performances, like insanity at the level that he hit. On the Immortals side of things, we've seen guys like Lucas have good games here. Their Steel has been having a pretty good tournament overall. So I mean, this is where you are getting some of those players that you don't expect to step up, like right at the correct moment, right when all the pressure is on them. They're finding ways to have an impact for their team, and now, especially with someone like Immortals, who's we talk all about how uncomfortable they can be on a stage. They've played Virtus.pro in stages. They've played them in grand finals. They played them before at LANs. And as an emotional team, this is one of the areas where they can snowball this. This is an emotional moment. So if they're able to ride that, it's going to be tough, obviously, with the crowd the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, we said earlier with North, they obviously didn't enjoy playing in front of the crowd, and they have had some issues like that in the past. I'm not saying they did today, but it can happen. And quite rightly, I think we would be as well. But Immortals strike me as the kind of team who will thrive on this.
I'm not really sure because it's not going to be in their favor, right? When
no, but that's what I think they accept the challenge of the crowd's against us, but we've got enough passion within us to carry ourselves through.
I would maybe agree with you, Paul, in theory, but once I was in that arena for that quarterfinal game between Virtus.pro and North, there was no team at this tournament that could handle, that could play the same against that crowd, or if it was just a neutral crowd or whatever, because it really does have a huge effect. It's every single play. It's like cheering even when things aren't necessarily happening. So you really need to be in a specific state of mind to kind of not negate, because I think you can't negate the influence of that crowd, but minimalize it.
It's a case where even if they say that and even if they believe it, you're saying all the right things leading up to it, but once you're in that environment, it's a completely different beast. Because this crowd, sure, they probably love these guys to a certain degree. They probably find it a very exciting Counter-Strike to watch and everything. Would love to cheer for them. Not against Virtus.pro. This crowd is going to be 100% against them.
God forbid they try to knife someone.
Oh God, you don't want to do that.
Well, we've already had more knives at this Major than any other previous. So
probably the right 2 matches, we've probably had more knives.
Yeah, in those 2 matches alone. Four in a row. Right, we are ready. Toron Arena, get ready, get your hands ready, get your voices ready, because the teams are about to enter the arena.
Brazilian Counter-Strike has been led by the play of SK Gaming, but it has not solely been a one-team story. Yet, Immortals always stumbled when it came time to qualify for the Major, finally securing that coveted spot. They are driven by the desire to embark upon their own quest for gold, tempered by the consistent style of Bolts, who has played in the playoffs of Majors already. New talent KNG brings the kind of off-ping Brazil is famous for. Welcome on stage, Immortals. Major champions 3 years ago, Virtus.pro have always returned from dips in form to reach championship status. But never before have things been this dire for Poland's finest. The sneaky Snacks must be at his elusive best if VP is to turn heads in their native Poland. And legends like Neo and Taz are not ready to go quietly into retirement just yet. Remember the plow. Welcome on stage, Virtus.pro.
Virtus.pro versus Immortals, a major semi-final played out in front of a packed audience in a giant arena. How far we've come. Those players will make their way back to the booths right now, and we will get ready here at the panel itself. Janko, it's such a good scene out there. It's so well set for the Polish team. Everything seems to be on their side. Home soil, playing well this morning and this afternoon. Is there any danger that they can lose this? Have Immortals got any chance against this crowd?
Yeah, they definitely have a chance. Immortals are a very flamboyant squad at the moment. KNG has been having a great tournament. I think he's had a lot of impact with the AWP. Then if you have the likes of Henny step up or, you know, Lucas Bolt steals one of the riflers, they can be a very dangerous lineup. Yes, a more looser play style. They don't have as much structure as some of the other teams, but they can be definitely dangerous. As I already said, they can go in this game without any pressure. You know, they played Virtus.pro at Cologne in a best-of-1. They beat them there on cobblestone. Obviously, it's not the same thing now that it's the actual major and that it's here in Poland, but they're not without chances, that's for sure.
These Immortal plans, we'll go through the lineups and show you each of them as we go through. This man's going to be a key man, Jason.
He is, and he's been actually, to me, he's felt rather underwhelming, and I think part of that is that they've kind of shifted away from him being like the focal point, because for a long time, in fact, when, you know, Taz mentioned in an interview, we remember Immortals beating us in the best-of-5 at Gfinity. When they did that, it was Boltz who was just an all-star. And now when they have KNG and they have Henny coming in and these guys are playing well, Steele's having good impact, it seems like a lot of that has been shifted away from Boltz, so perhaps why we're seeing some of the lower, lower numbers from him, but definitely he's one of those guys that if he does show up, much like Mo, if they get that added effort from him, if they get that added impact, that could just very well push him over the top.
We were looking through the statistics earlier on GLTV, Janko, just to see where the players were right now and see whether we could find some groups of players that were doing well, or whole teams of players that were doing well. These guys have none inside the top 20 right now, which you would then say that's unusual for a semi-final team. But then just outside there, they're all 5 in the next 15 places. So they've played collectively very well, and they've all kind of stepped up when they've needed to. We haven't seen a big performance from anyone in particular, other than those, they've all done it once, if you like. They've not had one person they've relied on to get this far.
Yeah, that's the thing. You don't feel like it's been a team performance throughout the tournament. It's been different players stepping up in different games, and that's kind of their win condition. they all have to step up now at the same time if they want to have a chance against Virtus.pro, because this is the Virtus.pro you know and love, right? That they seem very much on point, both on the T and the CT side. The team plays there, and they've been playing well individually too.
Yeah, likewise in that earlier quarterfinal today, Jason, it was great to see Neo and Taz topping the scoreboards, as well as real impact frags in there, really crucial opening kills, crucial clutches coming in as well.
Nothing makes me happier than watching Neo have big plays and making big impact in matches. It's one of the coolest things just because of his history, but certainly, especially with Virtus.pro, this is a team that when you watch them play, when you watch someone like SK, it's the brilliance of their adjustments in the mid-round. Astralis, it's the same kind of thing. It's the brilliance of their map control game as well. With these guys, with Virtus.pro, when you watch them play, it's just pure power. They just set up very, very good crossfires. They trade very, very well with each other. And individually, as players like Bialy, he's very good at finding multi-kills. When he comes on, you can just see it's just take an aim duel. It's no finesse to it. Even sometimes you think that they don't even know what they're doing with some of the plays that they make, but they make it work in the end. And that's just kind of one of their big strengths is kind of that fashion of just grind these out. They're a very, very good grinding team, and because of that, they're very difficult to beat.
Yeah, and they also have that X factor in the team, which is the sixth sense that these guys, having played together for so long, have. We saw a good example of it on Cobble earlier on, where they were in the 1v2, which they could have lost, and instead of just going for the defuse and cover as a normal team would do, and we would have accepted that as being fine, they threw a smoke down, didn't defuse straight away, and then they had this weird cover spot where they literally had the guy defusing, but a guy behind him directly. So even if they killed one, they could, and that happened in a couple of seconds. Well, it was something that just happened that they did.
The reverse to that is we saw them play a 2-on-1 on Nuke after that, where the bomb's planted, Neo's in the upper bomb site, and Pasha's spending 20 seconds rotating outside, leaving Neo all alone. So sometimes
I try to build it up.
No, it is funny with this team at
depending
times.
on who's left alive.
Yes,
it is funny with this team sometimes because you say, yeah, they have played together so long, and when everything's clicking, when they're all playing together, it looks so good. But we've also seen the reverse of that, and that's just part of the power of Virtus.pro at majors. That's the big difference we see between them and at a major, at an event like this, and then versus being in an online match or being in a qualifying match or something along those lines.
And they're going to have to keep those mistakes to a minimum here, aren't they? Because Immortals are the kind of team that just thrive on being given an edge somewhere. Even if they're getting battered, they somehow find their way back into games, and anything that they can get, they'll just take.
It's true. They're a very, very aggressive team, so they are capable of capitalizing on those mistakes. But let's be honest here, like Immortals are also a mistake-prone team. They have a lot of flaws in their game still, and VP also very, very capable of exploiting those weaknesses. So it's going to have to be one of those situations for Immortals where it's, win the pistol, have the control of the economy, and make it very, very difficult for VP to get into that plow mode. If they can't handle that, it's going to be a stomp.
And also, Henny and KNG especially, one of the trademarks of their opping style is those aggressive peaks and the fast firing speed, and those are perfect kind of styles if you're going to take advantage of mistakes. If Virtus.pro busts them out, if they maybe get over peaky when you're not expecting, they have the ability to respond quick enough to do that. But also, we saw yesterday in the matches, Immortals versus Big, when it was getting into overtime, when it was getting that third map and the series had been stretched on for so long, we saw a lot of their own focus start to fade, and those are things they can't let happen. They need to stay focused throughout this entirety of this match. They cannot be allowing themselves to kind of get disorganized in post-plant positions.
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
Another thing is with the double op setup, right? VP is known for their defaults, yes, but they're also known for their explosive executes, as Jason pointed out, the power. And that's a style that puts a lot of pressure on the opper because you can't afford to miss your first shot. If you do that, you get overwhelmed, and the round pretty much falls apart for you. And we know that Henny, first and foremost, and KNG, we still need a bigger sample size for him, but Henny can be very inconsistent. He can have great games, very explosive, great firing speed, but sometimes he can't hit the shots he's supposed to hit. And if he starts having a quiet game here, Immortals are in danger of just getting run over by the explosive style of VP.
But on the other hand, they have had KNG stepping up in the last series. We saw him in the quarterfinals.
The problem, though, with that is when KNG was stepping up, Henny was struggling mightily at times, especially on that Cobble match, you think, yesterday against Big. This is a game where they need both of them. Those are two of the biggest names they have on this team, especially considering KNG coming into this wasn't all impressing everyone in terms of how he's been playing in this team since he's joined up, but the impact and the plays he's making at the timings that he's made them in this event so far have been great. He needs to keep that up. Henny needs to become more of a stable opper in this series as well. He needs to have at least one explosive game if they want a chance to win this. This is going to be a tough battle. Yanko mentioned it. Everyone needs to step up in their own way, but certainly Henny and KNG are going to be carrying the bulk of the numbers.
Going to turn our attention to the map vetoes very shortly, and on that score, Yanko, they've favoured this double AWP setup on a number of different maps and on both sides as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Seems like also that sometimes it's a feel type of a thing, right? If KNG is maybe feeling a little bit hot and then he picks it up over Henny, or if it's the other way around. Maybe with all the tournaments, they still haven't had time to figure out exactly how they want to approach that double op setup. But yeah, for the map veto in itself, the Immortals have a clear nuke veto, which is a great thing because it's the VP's best map at the moment. For VP, it's not that clear cut. It seems to be overpass. At the moment, they've shown that they're willing to play cash. For example, in that game against Fnatic, it didn't look great. So the question poses itself, if that's the case, do Immortals go for that pick? Or do they go for something like Inferno, which is a map that VP hasn't been banning early on. They've been vetoing mostly overpassing cash, but no one has kind of picked it against them or never ended up being an Inferno game.
And then you just assume that somewhere in the middle is where we end for map 3, which could be a cobblestone, the same as it was at ESL 1 Cologne.
Could be a cobblestone. I think train is a likely one that could come out here. I think a lot of it is going to come down to how confident Virtus.pro believes in their cash. Like how much are they going to want to let that in and take that risk? Because that's a map that I think you'd say Immortals have a pretty decent favor on. And
this is also maybe where that Immortals game versus Astralis early on in the tournament, which was an overtime win for Astralis, kind of, you know, forces VP into an overpass ban. Maybe that makes them think, okay, let's not risk it here in a semi-final game. Let's keep vetoing it, and we'll have a better chance of cash.
The fun part of this veto is all of this theory that we've just busted out. It might not even matter in the end of it. Virtus.pro is one of those teams. Because Virtus.pro is one of those teams.
Don't say that, Jason. Come on. We need to get paid for something here.
VP is a team that they don't just want to beat you. They want to beat you on your best maps, especially if they have some kind of a grudge or some kind of a rivalry. They want to bring out those maps that you think you're the best one on and beat you on those. So it might come down to something. I feel like, honestly, sometimes their theory behind pick ban occasionally is, oh, you guys, you know, are really, really good on overpass. Well, let's test it. Let's find out how good you actually are. And that's a very, very dangerous thing to do if you're VP.
I don't really think there's much rivalry going on here, at least for VP. I think after Astralis losing out to Gambit, VP is like, hell, this is our tournament now. So we just want to, like, you know, destroy Immortals first because they're just one last hurdle before that grand final and before us potentially lifting the trophy in front of the crowd.
Or we end up with an Immortals Gambit grand final.
That would be absolutely.
Can you just say that again out loud?
Because it does seem, it does pinch kind of up, but it sits here. We're 2 games away from that being potentially a major final. And the weirdest thing is, on day 1 of the group stages, we discussed, I don't know if it was us 3, but we discussed as a group of people, this could be the surprise major. This could be the one that we don't just get one surprise final, like a Liquid or whatever, but actually maybe we get 2 in the grand final, and here we are. Either way round, we're going to get 2 surprise finalists. I guess maybe not quite so much with Virtus.pro, but they're not.
No, let's not underplay that. That's still a very big surprise considering how Virtus.pro look coming into this tournament, and it's ridiculous because I know that's the storyline we always have, is that this team always steps it up for the big events, always steps it up for the majors, but every single time they have to prove it because they are getting to that point where it did get so bad there for a while. I mean, when Pasha's giving interviews, that's going to be like that's saying it's a miracle if we survive this intact. You do have to question it a little bit more. And yes, they've proven once again that they can step up at the right moments, but certainly the surprise comes in, especially for Virtus.pro looking at the other side of the bracket, being happy to avoid and dodge both Astralis and SK early on in the run, and then all of a sudden not even have to worry about them being in the final.
Did they suffer a little bit, just while we're waiting for the vetoes to come in? Did they suffer a little bit in that quarterfinal? Because there is an element in sports, isn't there, where 2 great teams meet each other earlier than they expect to meet them, and then when they beat them, they feel like, oh, well, it's an easier run now, and then maybe just take their foot off the gas pedal a little bit. Do you feel like maybe that's where Astralis has fallen down, or would you think that's taken away from Gambit's achievement?
I think that would take away from Gambit's achievement. I would just say the Gambit played it very, very well, and I think also there's always going to be that question, and I happen to agree with Astralis. I thought skipping ESL 1 Cologne for them was a smart decision to take that week off and prepare. And I don't think there's like a great reason why they necessarily lost that Gambit game. I think Gambit just played very, very well tactically. They had individuals stepping up at the right moment. They had a heroic game out of Mo, who they don't normally get. So that's one win right there. They had some mistakes down the stretch certainly, but that happens in every game.
Let's put it this way: if you play that series 10 times. Gambit wins once, maybe twice. If you replay it, you know, just everything fell into place for them. Obviously, Mo in that first game, but it has to be said they were playing the way they needed to play against Astralis. They were taking risks. They were trying to get the reads. They were getting the good reads, and Astralis didn't make any huge mistakes throughout the series. There was nothing glaring from Astralis where you would pinpoint and say, "Wow, this is like very bad for them."
Except the TK.
I mean,
which was pivotal, but it wasn't the whole story, was it? But it did come at the wrong time.
And that's not even really like a strategic mistake or anything in the sense of that. I think the big thing with that series was Gambit got out to such good starts, especially on a map like Train, that even when they struggled, they had time to find the adjustment.
Yanko came up with we talked about the win conditions beforehand, and he came up with, I think, 5 things they had to do, and they had to do them all perfectly, and they did. And Astralis may be on here to do one thing perfectly, and they weren't quite perfect. And that seems to be the difference between the two teams.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could see how it seemed like Astralis was making that comeback on Train. And at the very end, it was Zeus taking the very last timeout. After the timeout, Gambit wins the 3 remaining rounds. You could see when Astralis figured out what was happening. So they lost the first gun round to the more explosive game from Gambit. They tried to focus more to play close to the electric box, play closer to Pop Dog and Team Mid, but Gambit just had great pop flashes coming out, got the entry kills, and the round fell apart for Astralis.
Lovely Polish wave going around the arena right now as well. That's beautiful, like that.
The wave.
The wave, indeed.
They even do 2 waves starting from the same point.
Yeah, they kind of need to figure that out. It's not supposed to go like both ways. It just goes one way.
No.
I think that one's designed.
Yeah, that's design as well.
I'd never seen it before either, but the more I watched it, the more I
It's
think it
smart.
was designed. I can see the genius.
Yeah, it's like a smarter version of the waves going both ways. It's quite kind of cool.
I think we need more chance.
But it doesn't continually loop, right? It just ends.
Yeah, this is what I like about the Polish fans, because the Polish fans, unlike some of the others, they have a couple of, general chants that they're using, like football or basketball, so you can kind of make that happen even in CS. So it's not just the let's go Astralis all the time, the same one thing, or USA.
Hey,
there's actually a little bit of creativity here.
Careful, Yanko.
A little bit of creativity, Jason. How many NA teams were in the playoffs?
0, actually.
What do you mean? What about Immortals and SK?
They're not NA teams.
When are you going to make North America great again?
I'm working on it. Yeah, it's taken longer than
With the lack
expected.
of in-game leaders, I've just been trying to convince Moses that he needs to go back as a player.
Yeah.
Because such a cerebral mind.
Why do you want
Imagine
me
what he could
to
do.
go through the nightmare of being an in-game leader? I have no desire to do that whatsoever. There's zero.
His face right now.
There's zero
I think
desire.
you just went white with a worry or something. Yeah, you just became a ghost and pale.
Oh, please, no.
Dear me.
I think if anything, that this major of surprises has shown us, it's the resurgence to an extent of the more strategic tactical teams.
Definitely
we see
those teams work better.
Yeah, and also players who have been removed from teams previously, Zeus from Navi. That's a specific situation, because that's where still coaches could be in-game leaders, so they were expecting their coach to in-game lead. They wanted more firepower and so on. Gob B from Mouse Sports, another great example. Glaive hasn't had a team for a very long time. He was in a top 3 team early on in CSGO, in Western Wolves and Anexis, one of the first teams to have challenged NIP on their legendary 87 and O run, but he has had a resurgence as well. So you can see on the other side of things, the likes of Fnatic, the likes of G2, the likes of Navi to an extent with this lineup.
NIP still,
that they've all had failings simply because I think it's the obvious issues of not having not just the in-game leader, but a true leader. We heard it for some of the Navi players. There's too many people voicing their opinions at the same time, and there's no clear direction in their game. So that's something that these teams are really going to need to work on coming forward. And even if potential shuffles happen, I think the most important players are not going to be, the Oppers and the Star Riflers. It's going to be, or the most lucrative players are going to be the few remaining in-game leaders that are out there.
Yeah, the ones with the brains, the ones that have to put it all together. I mean,
Sean's turn's next.
Is it?
Sean Garris.
He's coming back.
Yep. He's going to be the savior.
What do you mean? He has a great team in Misfits.
Yeah.
Why would he want to move anywhere? They just beat my Serbian team at DreamHack.
That's not saying much. No offense.
So the 2-0.
Ooh, a strong 2-0.
North American Counter-Strike is back. We have the vetoes incoming.
Nice.
Let's see where this goes. There's the face of the eyes of a man who has focus right now, ladies and gents.
Does that look like the face of Mercy?
Does that look like that? Yes, that is.
He's staring into your soul, Jason.
I know. It was nice. It got me excited for this matchup. These guys are going to troll the map vetoes again, aren't they? I can just feel it coming. They did it yesterday.
Oh,
this is this morning.
Oh, this morning.
Yeah,
even after the vetoes are done, we're going to have at least 10 minutes to talk about the maps, because Immortals, that's how long their huddle lasts. You feel like
it does feel like it's been getting longer, I have to say.
I feel like with all the insults that are coming in to hype yourself up, it does seem like on top of that, they're going through every single round of that map. So, okay, so pistol round, we do this. If we win, we do this. If we lose,
honestly, I promise you, they're not. I spoke to Steele about it, and he privately said, no, we're just trying to get into the game. But you take so long. He's like, yeah, because we take a while to pump each other up.
They got to get angry, right?
There we go.
All right, there's the new band.
There we go. Band from Immortal as the crowd are on their feet during the vetoes. That's how crazy this is getting already.
And this is going to be either cash or overpass, I would imagine. And that's the kind of risky one that we're winning about. Okay, going to be overpass. Okay. So maybe that game did influence him a little bit.
Yeah,
it's not exactly.
Maybe even not.
Yeah,
it seems like just be a map they're not willing to play at the moment.
They're going to go Inferno, I would imagine, since Virtus.pro hasn't even played it in the past 3 months.
Or
I imagine
cash.
Inferno.
But this is the Astralis SK cash type of a situation, right? You pick Inferno because they haven't played it, but you don't know how they're going to play it.
Yeah.
So, you know, how are you going to prepare for VP on Inferno? Yes, you can focus on playing your own game, but that can be tricky.
I like this. This is a big time pick from Virtus.pro as well. Mirage is not a great map for the Immortals guys. They do have a winning radar, but they don't play it that often. But I mean, definitely this is a bread and butter map for VP. And there's the cash map. I think it's going to be Cobbler Train at the end.
I know. Yeah, it has to be one of them.
Yeah, well, we said Cobbler earlier, didn't we?
That's a great third map for these teams.
And they both played it at ISO 1 Cologne against each other. Immortals coming out on top in that one, 16-12. And there it is.
Cobble. That makes sense.
This is also, maybe again, we go back to the team that picks the map, the other team picks the side. So in that sense, Cobble more even across the two sides than Train. Probably don't want to start the decider game as T-side on Train against Virtus.pro. But in the end, a pretty good pool of maps for both teams. I think VP has a clear advantage on Mirage. And it's going to be super interesting also for the potential grand final game to see how VP is looking on Inferno, because we have absolutely no idea.
I think that Inferno, if you go off of what VP looked like earlier in the year, yes, they were playing much better than they have been recently, but they were one of the teams who were the best at controlling Banana on the CT side. It was just never-ending aggression and nades from 2 to 3 people there, and they just controlled it so very well. Teams really couldn't get past it. That defense was like set up at the car and the wall, and there was no getting around it. Now, part of the reason why they might have gone away from it is because that did start to get figured out a little bit, but this is a map that they've always been dangerous on with how aggressive they can be. Pasha, especially over towards alternate mid with the AWP, some of his most iconic moments are being dominant with the op on that side.
So which way are we going is the question now.
VP.
I'm taking VP as well for this one.
You're quite confident about it. It's just like VP.
Listen,
pretty blasé about it. I mean, come on, man.
It's my job here to find silver linings, Paul, but let's not kid ourselves. I mean, VP in front of this crowd, this is going to be a quick one, and we can all go and have some food.
You couldn't think of a Polish beer?
Tiskie.
There it is.
Very nice.
Yeah. I just want pierogies.
Yeah, also very nice. But we do have potentially 3 maps here.
Yes.
Is it going all the way?
No.
Okay.
Very decisive from Jason, as usual.
No, I like...
straightforward, I like it. Decisive, 2-0.
Even if this first map is closer, I mean, obviously Taken, that would change things, but I think Virtus.pro can win Inferno. I think they have enough experience. I thought they played it well, but Mirage is a map I don't think Immortals is going to be prepared for how VP plays that.
I'd like to see what VP picked on Inferno, because I think they picked T, and that would be a good choice. Just start the pressure early on.
Get in their faces. Get on the ground behind them again.
Get the foot on the throat.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Thank you very much to Janko and to Moses. We are ready, ladies and gentlemen, to head over to the arena and to your commentary team for this final semi-final. The last 3 teams alive. Virtus.pro versus Immortals. It's all yours. Henry G and Sadikist.
Thank you, Paul. Yes. I did not hear a word you said on the desk. I absolutely can't even hear myself right now. This crowd is insane. We weren't even sure VP would be here. But they are here, and so are 15,000 of their teammates, plus many more at home, I'm sure. This is the loudest building I've ever sat in.
We made a comment as we come into the pre-game. Immortals, their first major. They've definitely never experienced an environment like this. I've never seen it. It's insane. We're in front of the Polish corner as well. These guys seem absolutely bananas. They're going to be blowing the roof off here today, Matt. But this is going to be a good game. This is still a huge test for Virtus.pro. They're swinging back in terms of form. They've proved themselves at this major, looking for a place in the grand final. But Immortals, they're looking decent. They've taken down some big names here. And we kick off in Inferno. Yes, nice. And they're looking good on Inferno as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're the team that got in big space and wouldn't allow them to execute. Slow style does not work against, as Jason dubbed it, the impetuous play from Immortals. They are willing to take fights. They are willing to get aggressive. Henny stepped up yesterday. He was slow to start. But again, if he gets that AWP rolling, we know KNG can back it up very well. It's going to be Virtus.pro's job to be ready for the aggression, to shut down the aggression, and to take advantage and exploit Immortals on rotates. Because I will say rotations were not their strong suit despite all of that. It's pretty nuts.
It's pretty exciting here. I can't wait, Matt. I don't even know which way this one's going to go. You feel like, are we going to give any sort of weights to this six-man? Do you feel like it's going to be important? Do you feel like Immortals going to feel the pressure? I'm feeling, it feels like this sort of environment is quite intimidating to walk out and hear everyone cheering. Not against you, but for the other team, right?
Whether or not you feel the pressure as Immortals, which they certainly should, I will say, oh, there we go. Now we've got it.
That was both names.
I would say,
Thank you so much.
If Immortals don't feel it, Virtus.pro will feed from it. So the sixth man is still in play for Virtus.pro as a positive. I will say as well on the other side of that is Immortals yesterday against Big, they fed from the energy. They were screaming at each other. They were getting up. I guarantee you, Henny and Lucas and KNG will probably get in on it. They will stand up and they won't look at Virtus.pro to taunt. They're going to look at everyone in this crowd and say, bring it on. I know they're going to feed from it as well.
That might have been one of the most emotional games of Counter-Strike I've seen. We had peripherals smashed. We had comments made from the booths. Some questionable like bits of dialogue where people are trying to transcribe from the lip reading. So it was an amazing game. I'm sure you'll see more of that today. It's going to be so cool to see this one kick off. I think 3 maps is definitely possible. The fact we have Inferno as well, you saw the statistics there for Virtus.pro. It's not a map they played that much anymore. Historically, I used to think it was one of their best. I used to love watching on this. Like 2015, I thought the utilities on the CT side, I thought it was second to none. I thought it was fantastic, but they do not play it as much as they used to. And in the best of 3, they had to let something slip by. Inferno, still a bit of a wild card. The way they're playing right now, they definitely still could win this map, but I don't think it's going to be a clean run at all.
Pasha's looked good on an AWP. He's more CT-sided. He's very good at holding angles, which in some ways you could think mean on this terrorist side if Immortals are going to get aggressive. He could hold the bottom and middle and get lucky that they get over-aggressive on their peaks. I still think ops are a massive factor, but watch for speed and entries on the VP side. They're going to start CT side on Cobblestone because it is Immortals' pick. I don't think we need to ask who the favorite is in this building.
It's so cool. Like, we've obviously talked about Cologne being awesome, but they've never had a hometown team to shout for, right? This sort of arena, 15,000 people supporting one name, it's definitely going to be one of the loudest games of Counter-Strike. Most passionate for sure. As the chants begin, we have hit the countdown. We've got 30 seconds until this game begins. Like you said, Inferno to start, CT for Virtus.pro. I guess if you had to ask me, that is more favorable. It's a more balanced version of the map these days. But if they can win the pistol, build some momentum up here, it's going to be quite the show. Immortals, their work cut out for them here. Like we said, their first ever major map. They've tried 4 times before, they've made it, and they're in a semi-final. What a great showing at their first big event.
Unbelievable showing. And you're right as to say, we've never really had a crowd this much behind any team before. It's going to be an absolute evident performance by them. But we still have to see Virtus.pro get out of the traps hot. We have to see them start and take control of the game. Starting CT side, I think, is massive because, again, yesterday Immortals were able to control the pace so much earlier. Virtus.pro have a chance to allow the pace to build in their hands now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I don't think I have to ask you too much here. You're already in the mood. But here it comes, Immortals versus the hometown favorites, Virtus.pro. Let's make some noise! 3 sets of armor for the CTs, names are plenty as well. We've got 2 smokes, flashbangs to work with here on the Immortals side, a PD-50 for Bolt as well, and it looks like we've got some aggressive play as well. Virtus.pro pushing down emphatically, Bialy leading the charge, trying to find the first frag.
I said they'd set the pace on CT. I thought they'd let it dictate itself. They seemingly want to fight. Bialy gets low to the mid position, and he's actually going to go underpass. He could catch them off quickly because smoke went down. He's perfectly between them, but he's got to get the kill early because his back is going to be turned. Good fight, Neo adds to it, but as we watch off camera, KNG and Lucas give the advantage to Immortals with a bomb down. They slipped in behind through the apartments quickly. Bialy wants to retake toward them. There's one in Boiler. Shot toward the hallway. He realizes that KNG's missed it, going for the reload. He's got to jump away and buy time. And Bialy's going to commit to the chase. There's no kit for Bialy to play with. There's no kit for Virtus.pro at all. The kills have to come quick, and they're not. Bialy's down to 2 HP. Taz is left alone. He's going to go aggressive. Bialy's joined back in to distract. Is Bialy's job. He's gotten Lucas busy. Gives Taz a chance. Steel gets the kill. Immortals start off with the pistol.
They do indeed. The aggressive play from Virtus.pro. They're trying to get in the grill, set the tone of the match. It's unorthodox pushing 4 players down middle like that. Bialy, he had to be the disruptor. He had to find that first kill down second middle. Found himself in a difficult position as he fell back. Immortals in front of him as well, going for the apartments. They outpositioned them, and one player in second middle just bought so much time that the bomb goes down. The retake began, and like you said, no kits available for Virtus.pro meant Immortals do indeed pick up the pistol here. We're not going to have the force buy from Virtus.pro. More conservative approach here. We're going to have P250s, Deagles, 5.7s, but 5 smoke grenades. That's what they opted for. That's where they've kind of made the decision to try and be more defensive here. Lock out Immortals as long as possible, ride that clock down, make them feel uncomfortable, and see if the crossfires with the pistols will work out for them. A 4-player stack towards B at the start. They were hoping Immortals make a mistake and rush B at the very start of the round. It hasn't happened, and we do see Neo indeed fall back. In terms of firepower, Taz has a Desert Eagle. Immortals with 3 AK-47s, 2 SMGs to work with as well, and a default round. This is what you like to see from a T-side anti-force buy situation. We're going to hold up in the default, bleed out any sort of utility, get information, work out there's a stack, and play like this. Have the buddy system rolling. Try and get any sort of refrags. If you get any danger here, you get the refrags straight away.
Pasha's the one toward the arch. Lucas spots the shoulder. Slight damage in, not a huge amount from the AK. Just 66 left for Pasha to work with. Has a smoke. They've got 3 of them. Pasha making contact seems to lead off toward B, where smokes are actually more effective, as we know, through single choke points. These Bialy and Neo alone toward A. Commitment from Immortals. Lucas is going to be the first one to get close enough to make contact. He's got to be a little bit cautious of his positioning. Wary of the fact that Neo is behind the half wall. Bialy is going to bait it and wait underneath the balcony.
25 seconds now, the final perimeter comes in. Lucas is on the side, but Bialy and Neo biding their time here, doing a little bit of chip damage there, but there's only 1 kill coming in so far. Pasha picks up the AK-47. He'll be falling back, looking to save that weapon. I think that makes the most sense at this point, Matt. They have lost the round, essentially 4 players alive, and they're going to make the safer decision to actually just fall back, save the AK with the Deagle, with the P250 as well, and they can use that next round. A similar approach coming in. So wise and informed from Virtus.pro there. Immortals decent though, as we described. They did everything perfectly there to get some decent map control, making sure they're refragging. 1 player went down, it was instantly dealt with, and the CTs have to go packing. But Pasha, more importantly, he's got a 5.7 in his back pocket as well. Drop that for a teammate, and he's got the AK to work with. We'll see if that has any sort of damage going into the next round.
As the fans come alive, will be carried over early for the Virtus.pro side. UMPs stay in the hands of Henny and Bolts. What's KMG do? Because he's the one that lost the gun. Doesn't have armor, doesn't have anything. He's not made a decision. Okay, back to an AK-47. You could see perhaps that he would think about saving for an AWP, but Henny's the one that has an SMG that can build the cache.
3 smokes coming out once again. They have a bit of a buffer here, Virtus.pro, considering they didn't get the armor in the previous round. The 5.7 gets dropped, and like we said, Pasha biceps, he's got the armor, he bought some body armor, he's going to try and cause some damage here. We'll have a look at his position. Going towards B at the start once again. They went for that 4-man stack. Deciding against it, Pasha still going to stay at the B side for now. Neo rotates back over to Bialy. That's where the pistols will be. They're hoping the B side of play works out for them here, but once again, controlled, methodical play from Immortals. Looking quite disciplined this tournament, I have to say. It's quite refreshing. They were always the erratic team who tried to get in there as quickly as possible and try and find frags, but this is a nice approach so far. Bolts and Henny, they work towards Banana, but their teammates with the bomb is controlling apartments for now.
So the AK for Pasha stays top B towards CT to be completely exact. The Snacks rotates around. Slow play Immortals, Steel grabs bomb. Neo is the one that's made contact early. They've actually bypassed his position. Steel next up. Lucas hits the shot before he even needs to peek the corner, so opening entry point. Pasha again stays over toward B. They'll let him stay for a while. I take that back, excuse me, he's inside. Rotated towards CT, but I don't imagine if they make contact and get the site cleanly, he'll go back for it. Taz, good find on the Deagle. That kill might change that prediction because the problem is they want to keep that AK. Now, obviously, if they can bring that into another round, it's going to be massive for them, yeah. So kills coming in, they'll immediately back off and give the round up. Give it away because AK is more important at this point.
save the AK-47 for sure. They've got a UMP on that side of the map as well, so that's beneficial. Going to that first gun round, they did invest quite a lot into that round in terms of smoke grenades, patching in the body armor as well. Definitely want to save that rifle. Immortals know it. You see KNG and Steel making their way towards the B site, trying to take them down. Taz, he's patrolling CT spawn, only got that SMG. It's Pasha who's done the new boxes. He can find a couple of kills here and start to get himself in towards the game. He finds these frags, he can actually take the AK into the next round, but that's going to be a difficult task in itself. You can see that he's heavily committing and succeeding by the looks of things as well. They find Pasha.
And they want the gun back. Taz can't get any more than a single kill. We'll give him a little bit of damage and money on the SMG. But the AK goes down. 3 are surviving on the Immortals side. And he has enough for the AWP if he drops it over to Bolts. Drops the AK, that is. And really... Okay, I was going to say, pause. I imagine it's technical. It's a headset issue. It appears to be for Pasha. I've got a headset issue too, Henry. It's that I can't hear anything inside of my own ears.
Yeah, but it certainly makes things exciting, right? Yeah, you know, it's all good. We can handle that for now. 3-0 for Immortal. It's the first gun round. The buy's not going to be amazing for VP. Sure, they didn't completely force buy into it, but they only saved themselves about $500 in that second round. So the AWP, it's possible. Taz would have to drop it, and he'd be lacking utility, potentially body armor as well, depending on which way he went with it. They have 1 kit so far, a couple of M4s purchased. Immortals patiently lie in wait here, and he has brought out the AWP.
I was going to say, yeah, so he did drop to Bolts. Leaves Bolts with 5,600, 4,950 for Lucas. Got a bit built up. Rest of the buy. As Virtus.pro and Iceland salute each other.
Well,
the rest of them will not buy it. Remember as well, let's not forget, Immortals had no choice but to be patient because Henny caused one delay yesterday, and Lucas caused another, both which were very avoidable.
Yep, if you're wondering what we're referencing there, Henny actually punched his mouse in anger yesterday. His only mouse, just to note as well, didn't have a spare.
That's a good point.
Punched that, broke the right mouse button. As an AWPer, that's not great. And hopefully he's learned his lesson. That won't be happening again today. They do indeed have Zowie sponsoring sort of mouse. I'm sure we've got plenty of mouses in the back.
Plenty of mice.
No, plural for PC mice is mouses.
His mouse still,
yep.
really?
Yep.
Well, didn't know that. There you go. The more you know every day. You invented the language. Pasha teaches it at the Passion London School.
He does, he does. He does a very good job as well.
Maybe he would have taught me that.
Well, AWP for Henny, like you said. Unorthodox to kick that off so quickly on the T side. It's a difficult weapon to really get rolling with. But up against the weaker money of Virtus.pro, I guess it makes sense. You're not going to have anyone dueling you at the very start. You can get a little bit closer, go for the opening duels yourself.
This is the call you make. I mean, Taz, if he really wanted to, at 5,400, could drop an op over. It limits him. Exactly. I was going to say, I'm not 100% sure I'd be on board with it. He's going to drop it to Pasha. Pasha's already got an M4, but he's just shy of the mark of getting himself an AWP. We still wait for the headsets. Not the Brazil team we would have, or Brazilian team we might have expected to be in a semifinal, to be honest.
I think this is one of the craziest most erratic majors we've ever had. Like, it's still kind of strange we're coming into the grand final, and it's potentially not going to be, well, there's not going to be a top 10 team there. Categorically, that's not going to happen. Virtus.pro, they go deep in almost every single major they attend. They're always be expected to bounce back. It's such a cliche and boring thing we're saying at this point, but it's true. They're here at the major once again, battling for place in the grand final, so you can't argue with the results, really.
They and Fnatic are the only 2 teams that have been legends at every single major.
Yeah.
Not to mention, like you said, it's been unpredictable. Gambit is in the final. Congratulations to them. Great performance against not only every one of the group stages, but Astralis in a semi-final.
A team that had question marks around them coming into this tournament. We hadn't seen them for so long. They had been off the radar. They hadn't really attended many tournaments, and just completely running away with this tournament, getting to the grand final, the first team there. I don't think anyone was going to be able to predict that. We thought playoffs were always possible for those guys, but grand final, I wouldn't have ever guessed that. So just to keep you updated on the server, it is indeed Pasha with the headset issue at the moment. Normally quite easy to sort out. He uses in-ears as well, so maybe he has to get those replaced. He's disconnected from the server, so it'll be a PC restart. And hopefully we'll be underway very shortly. If you're just joining us, you haven't missed much. It's the first map of the semi-final. Virtus.pro versus Immortals. Immortals winning the pistol game, a 3-0. I have to say, tip my hat to them in terms of their approach on their anti-force buy situations. Not being sloppy. They're making sure they're having a really solid game plan. Zach's obviously sat down and helped the team out and managed to work out the problems. That was a massive issue for them for so long. If you remember back to the major qualifier for Atlanta, that was something I was like losing my mind about at times, the way they just keep rushing B and having these horrible approaches on their anti-eco. So this is looking much better for them. They're looking like a better unit. They've always had very good fraggers and a huge skill ceiling, but some of the fundamentals of Counter-Strike eluded them at times. But obviously, like we said, the first major for them, after trying to get hit so many times, to make it to a semi-final, that's pretty epic, I have to say.
We get back underway. First gun round. Virtus.pro do bring out the AWP. It's on Snacks.
Snacks is really solid on Inferno warping. Like, he's very aggressive. He'll go towards B. He'll be dancing around the top of that car position, trying to find the first pick.
This has to be aggressive as well, because look at the lack of utility.
Yeah, he has
4
to.
smokes, 1 kit. Neo's the one that has it. He's got head armor to go along with it. Shot doesn't land on the AWP from Snacks. He's tagged! But the second one works, goes for Henny. Can't find a follow-up. As Bolts gets the kill and he immediately retreats, smartly so, as the nade was thrown his direction. It would have put him down.
Yeah, Snacks aggressive, potentially too aggressive. That 18 HP went for the reface. He wants to get those kills in his favor. Still didn't feel like that was enough work done. 4 and 4 now. And as you said, a lack of utility. 1 kit as well, 1 smoke remains. Banana Control gifted towards Immortals at this point. Steals at the end of apartments as well. The bomb still in second middle. So we could have Steel completely sell something towards the A side, pull a rotation over there potentially, but Bolts, look at him. He's already in towards the B side itself, trying to find the first pick. Can he get it? Smokes himself in towards CT spawn. Pashup, does he find him? I don't think he does. They brought past each other, but it's Pashup. He gets him. The timing works in his favor.
What a turnaround play. That shuts down anything inside of the site. Because if Bolts gets by and finds Pasha on that KNG push and they wrap onto Taz, it becomes a big problem. Meanwhile, Lucas still has bomb over toward the A site. Steel is in the apartments waiting for the time to enter. KNG is flirting as close as he can inside of the site. Oh, what a flick! Snaps back at Pasha, which he overlooked originally, gets caught out. He knows Taz is somewhere still inside of it. Backs away, scoped in, and he may actually go through CT to join his teammates. Taz peeks him at the right time to shut it down! And the White Death, Biawi, steps out for 2. Virtus.pro find round 1.
Thought KNG had done enough there. That flick shot to CD spawn, that was absolutely nuts. Taz, though, with the timing, patient as ever, waiting a new box, timed it to perfection. Calls are going towards A, he spots him going towards CD spawn. The guys at the A bomb site shut it down. Snacks, I don't think we quite caught it. He did this bounce flash off the floor that goes over the wall at that point as well. It was really, really nice. Here's the replay of when he does take down a Henny eventually. Lovely shot, went for another one. Taken down, could have gone either way, but still Virtus.pro keep decent numbers up, and the AWP as well. Snacks aggressive, of course, trying to find the first pick once again. Can he get it? Of course he can. Takes down Bolts. 5 on 4 once again.
And back off this time immediately. And they won't put as much pressure onto Banana. As you said last time, they were almost gifted it after taking Snacks down.
Yeah.
They're given room to work with, but they won't go for it. They're scared now. This
is why Snacks is so good at orbing Inferno. He's just relentless. He doesn't care. He's not scared. He wants to get in their faces. Flashes over. Did the same thing last round. It does it in the second as well. It's currently 3-1 in Virtus.pro, but they've got the man advantage round number 5. And he's still the AWP. Money is limited for Immortals as well. You can see they've got a Galil, only 3 smokes remaining themselves. And he hoping a mistake is made, but Snacks boosts up his teammate. That's Taz. And he'll sit on the bomb side as well. A lot more passive approach this time as Immortals make their way towards middle. Though he's smoked out for now. That's the play here. Presumably wait for the smoke to subside and allow Henny to try and find the next pick.
Flash over, Henny jumps through. Archway covered as well. Very passive angle to hold for Pasha. Goes all the way to Moto. In fact, he's going to go inside of the site, so they have to be cautious of an arch wrap. Front side library smoked off. They can turn back through CT. 1 player waiting bottom Banana if they want to go for the Banana split. But with 3 toward Arch instead, yeah, it's more likely this is the play. And Pasha giving it up, they have to be aware. Neo's positioned accordingly. Bialy's still watching quad, and Pasha's now waiting for them to come through. Neo positioned, as I said. When the smoke dissolves, gets 1, drops down. He now has the headshot angle to control, and Pasha's going to take advantage of it, try and pop back out. But Neo has got the kill. You're right, time is gone. Taz may rotate over, but there's no time for the plant. And he gets 1 more, but it doesn't matter. It's 3-2, Virtus.pro 2 in a row. And after the time, no money for Henny.
Could have been huge, Evan Bashi found both of those kills. They've got absolutely nothing left. They do manage to save the AK and the AWP there, but still in economic turmoil here. They're going to have to balance the books, force up around it. Won't have much next round regardless. So Desert Eagles, Tech 9s, and the saved weaponry is a nice shot from Henny, but it's too slow at that point. You can see them, they wanted to go towards CD Spawn and have that be split. Had they done that though, they were still lost around. Snacks was at New Box watching CD Spawn like a hawk. It was a lovely setup for Virtus.pro. Great positioning from Neo as well, guaranteeing frags, delaying them even further. Gets to that pit, they can't find him, and he wins the round. 3-2 now. Immortals have to force buy into this one. I think Henny keeps his money. Oh, here's one that died after the time of last round. So he's just on a Glock and nothing else. He had absolutely nothing.
Keep in mind, he's your primary AWP player. KNG has it this round.
But he's been the star for Immortals. In terms of AWPing, he's been arguably much better than Henny. So I feel like this is absolutely fine. He's been the more dynamic, aggressive, and assertive player. We'll see what happens here. He's coming towards the end of the apartments. There's 3 players on the other side. Flashes are good. Bialy to defend.
That flash was so well timed. Pasha still goes down to KNG as he almost backed into it. Lucas, good trade. So the 2 guns get the advantage, work the site, and Neo is completely surrounded. How is he alive still and gets a kill? KNG dropped. The op's available, so too is the M4. Henny picks up. And what's the call going to be? Good in utility in that they have an incendiary, a smoke, an AWP, an M4, and 2 kits. Gives them a little bit of time to get the setup, which will be Taz getting in position more than anything. Snacks, quick peek. No one in pit peeking out in return. Are they going to back off? He's trying to find an angle, bait them out with his individual shots, pull them back to a favorable position, but no one's taking the bait. And Taz is going to sit back and hope for exit. So Immortals will double back up. They'll go 4-2. And it was with just an AWP and an AK-47. That saves them in terms of economy.
Nice work by Immortals. They're up against it. 1 AWP and the AK with the pistols as well. Taz can hear the footsteps towards second mid. Right there on Henny. There it is. One shot will come in. It's something. As he saves his weapon and keeps limiting the economy further of Immortals. But they do take the lead now, 4-2. And it's a difficult situation for the VP side here. It's almost exactly the same as what Immortals went through last one. They've saved an AWP and a rifle, and they have to force up around there. Little to nothing, really. Max 7 coming out for Pasha, known to be an extraordinary shotgun player, so maybe he can cause some damage here. A couple of UMPs to balance things out as well. But Immortals, they have lost the AWP. Down to just rifles here themselves. This is a huge round. Snacks aggressive once again. He's got the AWP. Flashes round, can't find anything just yet, but still wants to keep battling here. Trying the wall bang. No damage inflicted just yet.
Back off, can't get there, nade hits, and then Henny follows it up with a single bullet. Just through the edge of the smoke, but either way, he has the top banana to work with. Taz flirting with it, but it's the silenced M4 that Henny's carried over, which, he loses that inside of the smoke to get the AWP and takes back. I say benefits it because they won't be able to see the fact that he's spraying inside of it. Back and forth battle with money the whole time. SMGs and a shotgun for Pasha. A bomb back toward a 2 players only to hold. Push back over from Neo. Quick check to arch side. No, they are not there yet. They are going. Good find from Steel. We catch it just as we snap back into first person. Leaves only 1 in the A site.
Yeah.
KNG should hold for rotations. They'll push B. Bomb will wait for further information. KNG goes all the way back around a factory library. Neo's a sitting duck. Shoulder spotted already. Steel wants to bait him out, make him go aggressive. Round done. 5-2 for Immortals.
Absolutely. 5-on-1 situation. Taz on the B side. Nothing can really do about that. It was a force buy from VP. We had SMGs, a shotgun there as well. Snacks. He knew he had to work hard at the start. He has been hyper aggressive, but only really towards Banana. It seems that they're kind of anticipating that right now. They're nading him, as we saw. You mentioned it. He got naded on the corner, then sprayed through the smoke. He is great at going aggressive, but it seems that they've kind of got his number at this point. It's going to be Taz to go down out of the hands of Bolts to finish things off there. That should call for an eco of the VP side. And you've got second saves loss bonus. That means $1,900 per player. As you can see, that was coming up on your screens momentarily. It's about 2K. So nothing really can be purchased around this one. Have to take the eco, maybe P250s at best. 2,400 on top of this. It's not really worth if you can get the P250s out. I think every last dollar's going to count at this point. Maybe just rush down middle, get it over with. See what you can do. Go for some refrags, but the thing is, Immortals have been so good at these rounds. I don't think they're giving up a single frag this time. Bialy, he gets taken down to 37 very early on in the round there.
Keep in mind that if Big didn't, well, Lagia have a whiff on the pistol, not to point out one player in an overall series, but if they had won the pistol on the CT side yesterday, they were shutting down Immortals quite effectively. The fact that Immortals already are up to 5 rounds and now in control of the money is a bit worrying for VP because we know how aggressive they will get on CT. We know how in the face and confident they are. Taz is in a bit of problem, a bit of trouble. The tag burned and pushed back. Snacks is still waiting to get baited in. Snacks is tagged even further. This time, finally, he backs off. Meanwhile, Entrance is on A. Lucas and KNG. Neo gets one for free. Oh! Taz follows it up! Unexpectedly, they find 2, but is it enough for the round? Not necessarily. Steel certainly confirms it is not. I can't imagine Snacks with 12 HP pulling off anything beyond that, so he walks through. Steel gets that kill as well. 6-2.
Had to be the full eco there. Not really much Virtus.pro could do. I'm surprised he even got 2 frags. Neo's been a bit of a beast towards that pit area. Great positioning and nice aim as well. It's 6-2 though. It's going to have to be a bit of a climb back into this game from VP. Great gun round, especially that all from Snacks. Very exciting stuff, but can't afford it this time. We're going to have 4 M4s, a UMP. Snacks has to buy the UMP. They need at least one person with a kit here. All power for KNG. Like we said, he's been taking this main AWP role because he's just looked so good. Why not? And he's definitely the main AWP for the team, but in this event, I think they've decided that KNG, he's been the stronger player.
KNG, speaking of, king of the castle as he climbs into Boiler. Starts to walk down, scoped in at the ready. Oh, I can't find the angle. He's tagged on the 9 as well. Didn't just clip through the edge of the wall or cleanly. I'm not sure. M4 suggests cleanly, but he doesn't find the shot in the AWP, and that's going to favor Virtus, even though they're pushed back ever so slightly. So a very passive hold once more in the A site. Not so much a banana. Look at the position of Snacks. Or the former position, I guess, as he backs off. Doesn't want to sit there with just the SMG.
They were battling for the presence at the very start, but now the utility's starting to run out for Virtus.pro. They've got an incendiary, 1 flashbang and a decoy. That's it. And Immortals haven't made their final commitment yet. They're still fully equipped. They've got all their smokes, the Molotovs, the flashbangs. I don't know how VP hold this one off. I don't think there's much chance of it. Someone's have to step up and try and find a frag before they fully commit. Especially with this AWP coming in as well, KNG. 40 seconds remain. They've done significant damage to the AWP, but is that enough? They still don't have any real information. You see they're burrowed away on the A side there with the crossfires, which is fine, but with the lack of utility and not being able to do much with that, I think that's a bit of a problem. Bolt's heading towards B by himself. I think he just throws 1 smoke and will fall back. KNG with mid control, and the teammates coming for apartments as well. Flashbang momentarily, and there's the final commitment.
Out they go. Quickly, Neo, he looked up. He's still not realized they're directly above. Will fire eventually. It swings out. Still, he has more company though at the balcony. A quick rotation back with 5 HP. No chance at saving it. KNG perfectly positioned to clothesline Virtus.pro, and they look to be out of this round as well. Taz in 1 versus 3 is already backing off. Money is in the bin still as Virtus.pro are about to find, I believe, their 5th in a row. Will be their 4th in a row, so it's not even a max loss bonus for VP to work with.
Yeah. And we're going to call a timeout as well for VP, which makes sense. Just need to calm things down. What's going on the problem here? They're either going super aggressive or they're very passive. I think that round you need a mixture of the both. We had to be flashing over and challenging for a frag at least towards our mid position. It seemed very difficult to hold them off. You could see, Matt, when they came in at the apartments, arch and quad side, you need to be able to smoke off one of those areas. You need an incendiary at the apartments at least, so Neo can help out Bialy towards the quad. He's had nothing to work with there. It's too much to manage. Have Immortals time there, execute very well. They're going to run away with that round. I didn't think there'd be much chance for them there. Only 2 players survived for Immortals, so they stay relatively modest, but their money's already skyrocketing. 2 players above $10,000 as the reinvestments come in. And Virtus.pro, they saved the M4 Shore. And as you mentioned, maximum loss bonus into the next round. I mean, if you lose 5 rounds in a row, you get $3,400 per player. But that's saved them for right now. There's not really much you can do. You can justify some 5-7s, maybe some HE grenades, nade down towards Banana, try and challenge that. But Immortals have been so good. They've been so disciplined. They're not giving anything away at the very start. Anything you want to try and do is aggressive at the very start. You're not finding anything.
Here we go.
So we get PP50s as the claps come back in. Smoke grenades, flashbangs, no kits. It's up to Taz to try and find some frags as we enter number 10. 7-2 is the overall scoreline here. M-Pause comes through, and VP find anything with this situation. They're the sort of team that always seems to, Matt. Maybe they can do it again here.
Nades to the top of Banana. No damage really taken from it. Neo aggressive with the P255. One looks for a second. He's got a chance as Steel's on the run. but Steel's got the better gun, and he finds both Pasha and Neo. Bolts gets his way into the cubby at the top of Banana. Snacks is the next in line. Taz on the M4 has to back well off. 5 HP. Where does he even hide at this point? The last place he'd look is in death. He'll go to the graveyard. Nelly with the P250 is all that remains there for at B. Do economic damage at this point. Do anything. Because Immortals are in a very good position in this map.
Yeah. I have to say, Immortals, they're playing this perfectly so far, Matt, in terms of the way they're approaching the game and waiting for VP to make the first move, bleeding them out. And once they know they've got nothing left in terms of the money situation, they're reading it perfectly every single time as well. Going together as a 5-man unit, only giving away about 1 frag each round. It's looking very promising for them. They're going to be ending up winning the half this time, 8-2. Virtus.pro, though, trying to save the M4A4. We did say they'll get a lot of money next round. We have a timeout coming in. Virtus.pro in the previous, do they call it again? It makes sense. You don't want to slow down if you're Immortals right now. Everything's going so well. Stick to it. If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Well, that was one thing we did say about the original usage of 4 timeouts when that was implemented in August of 2016. So almost a full year now. Is that you can break momentum. And I remember Liquid doing it at ESL New York last year and talking to Hiko, and he said it's almost very frustrating, but it makes sense. Late game, just slow the pace down, break the other team, even if they're getting ahead. If you win a round, slow it down so that they have to think about the frustration. But at this point, Virtus.pro with the max loss bonus, yeah, it makes perfect sense. And you're already pointing at what I think you're pointing at.
Well, yeah, it's the double orb setup on the CT side. This is actually a tactical timeout from Immortals, just to note as well. Double orb setups with Pasha. We talked about this in the pregame. He's been fantastic for VP in terms of finding falling the AWP again. He's definitely been pivotal at finding the success to get into the semi-finals so far. But you can see still, it's lovely work just to stay alive, holding a decent position, making them come to him. It was a really nice work, and we go to run number 11, the double orb setup. When things get a bit desperate, this is normally the go-to procedure. So Pasha and Snacks. I'd like to see Snacks be a little bit more passive. Sure, he's had 2 great frags so far, but that's all he's got now. He's on 2 for 7 right now, and for someone as kind of well-versed in the CT side or on Inferno, you'd expect him to maybe just hold the lines a little bit more at this point and stop challenging so emphatically at the very start. He does go towards Banana, uses the nade, not bouncing flashes over this time, so still hunting for the frag, but not committing to the full corner peek here.
Flash does go high in the sky as Snacks behind the bags, gets partially blinded. Aggressive stance from Virtus.pro toward Boiler. They are known for it in the previous iteration, not so much in Inferno. Again, their map stats don't really suggest that they've been playing this map often or well. Snacks tries for the new existing wall bang. So too does Lucas toward the Atrium. Top quad boost for Immortals. Excuse me, for Virtus.pro.
The scary thing about this for Immortals is they're just running defaults every single time and finding great success. They haven't had to change their game plan whatsoever. They've been controlling the money and the pace of the game, and Virtus.pro haven't really had the answer for it so far. If Immortals are chucking a banana rush at some point into it, I'm not sure you better hold that off. But for now, it looks like they head back towards B after showing presence in the middle. We can see the CT is a bit more aggressive this time. We have Pasha on the corner, also Bialy backing him up as well. I think he might be boosted up on quad. He is indeed. So they're actually challenging this time, and it could work out for them. Here comes the first frag. Bialy can't find it. It's up to Pasha now. Trying to do what he can. Hits the shot, but has to fall back.
And it's a perfect bait and switch, but it doesn't work for Neo because they chase the AWP. By that time, they walk around the corner. Still, Lucas finds the kill. Snacks is pushed out of B. Bomb has not gotten this way too often. It's usually mid to late with big advantages. This time, it's 17 seconds when the bomb goes down, and Snacks, they know the AWP is in position, but he's alone for a while, in fact. Pasha doesn't even look like he fancies it on a double off. Retake, and if Snacks hits the first one, you might give him a chance. He's most unorthodox in these situations, but Immortals are going to go 9-2. This is not at all the start Virtus.pro wanted. Remember, it's their second game today in this building. First one was very successful against North.
Yes, absolutely.
This one's taking a while to burn into it.
Well, it's, like we said, it's a map we don't usually see them on that often, and Immortals have looked very good on this recently. The first team to shut down big on this map. They were 3-0 here. They shut down SK Gaming, FaZe, Cloud9. Immortals were the first team to beat them on it, so that's something in itself. That just goes to show you they're very comfortable on this map, and Virtus.pro maybe not so much. That was the first time they brought out the double orb setup. Didn't really get that much done again. The smoked out at the very start. The defaults look good. Virtus.pro actively fighting for more frag to the start. That Bialy boosted on the quad position. Pasha was beneath him with the orb as well. Even Neo was getting stuck in the quad side. We're getting out fragged. The flashes were just 2 on point from Immortals. They couldn't hold it off. And it's 9-2. Double orbed once again. Doing everything they can at this round. Won't be a force buy here. I think it's just Snacks who's gone all in. The rest of the players with Desert Eagles and CZ, they know they start posting some rounds now, so it's a gamble for sure, but let's see if it works out for Snacks.
This is so tight, so critical. And Pasha gets away with it, backs off as well. They've got another position player in quad to support it, but Pasha doesn't need support! Oh my goodness, that's exactly what they need!
Oh, now they're getting fired up. Pasha, what on earth was that? The third shot through the smoke as well. You just knew he was going to hit it after he got the first two. It was meant to be. 5 on 2 now. The force by 3 orcs to the CTs. Steel and bolts to recover the round. Got about a minute to work with him. Now head towards B.
They're a team that can build off of this sort of momentum. All it takes is one big round, and there's 3 AWPs for Virtus.pro against 2 AKs. Taz is positioned close enough with the CZ that he can take advantage of Snacks' information. If Snacks doesn't hit the first shot, they'll likely flood to the site, which is exactly what's going to happen. So watch for Taz, and he gets both! The devil on top takes everyone down below.
What an absolutely nuts round there. Pasha, you're absolutely right. They're the sort of team that needs that one round that gets them fired up and realizing they're not out of the game just yet. 9-2 down. I wouldn't be surprised they finish this 9-6 now. They did take 3 Hawks in the previous round. Lovely shot from Pasha. Knows he has to work hard. The second was great. But what on earth was this? Boom! Through the smoke. Picks it up. 3 Hawks now in the CD side of Inferno. Neo with the third. He used to be the primary Hawk for Virtus.pro. Let's see if he can get anything done here. Nades towards B at the start. And Pasha actively hunting for frags here down middle. It's Neo in the apartments with the third.
Listen for the apartments. You watch the wall bang. That would have been incredible. Good leg shot onto Steel, at least, for damage. And they stay with a triple op. Fair enough. Why not just get 5 out, boys?
Well, we go towards the A side, towards apartments again. This will be a fast commitment, a change of pace. All 4 players here, flashed out by Henny. Neo with the orb, it's not ideal. Surely he gets taken down here.
Good shot, Neo. Shotgun EWP, no chance on the second of Bialy. He's there. He's still not there to find another, but Neo still continues on the balcony. Goes back with the deagle. Flash himself back into position. That'll allow Bialy to re-peek as well. They go for it. Now push them back. Taz shows up. Taz puts them down, and this is the Virtus.pro coming alive.
Yeah, now they're getting stuck in. Then they get rid of, oh no, they still have 3 orcs. I think, yeah, Neo's just like, you know what, that's enough for me.
Yeah, enough's enough. That was awkward.
I've had my fun. He hit some great shots, both nose goes right, but it's not an ideal weapon there. Absolutely not. He was lucky to stay alive as long as he did, bailed out by Bialy at that point. If he hits that shot, yeah, fair play, keep it, you're on fire, but I think this is the right choice. Get rid of that third orb, and we go into another standard round here. Pasha now, he's looking like he's feeling it. 3 players towards B. It's a banana rush. I said it could be coming, Matt. Will it work out?
But there's still a few leagues off the shore. Will they bite the flashing lure? There's 2 inside of the site still after getting 1 kill, and I assure you it's not what they expected it to be. And they'll still taste the hook of a doll hook in their lips because Snacks is still waiting. They're still waiting. It's as useless as a rod without a reel if he doesn't get baited in, but he's still gonna go. He's waiting, he's lining, he's got 1. They still have no idea, but he misses the second shot. Captain spotted napping with his first mate at the wheel. He's still alone and alive, down by bolts and an aid. Bialy goes back for more. Steel, Henny, and Bolts have the sight. Bialy has an AK. He's got 1 already. Good response from Henny. Great quick skills on the AWP, but Neo, the next in line. He's got it down to the 1-on-1, no plant, 58 seconds. They can afford to get into an exchange before bomb does go down, and Henny is more than welcome to it because the AWP has a favorable angle at new box. Only 2 ways to get through for Neo. Flash was already thrown. He has no further nades to work with. There may be some down toward Coffins. I didn't quite catch what was left on the players that passed. And Henny's starting to second guess himself. And Neo's playing it well because he was going to commit to the plant, but Henny pays off with patience. And Immortals get their first round in a few. But there's still money on the Virtus.pro side as we head to round 15. Looking 10-4, they want 5 on the board.
I said it was coming. It's been such a default, slow-paced game from Immortals. The moment they throw that B rush in there, it's going to be chaotic. And Snacks, he could have caused so much damage there as well. The fact he was stuck in the cubby for so long behind the smoke, but he's had the worst weapon for the job. As soon as you fire one off with a 2.5 reset, you've got to try and get back in the cover. If he doesn't nail that second shot, he's done for. Could have been something marvelous, but Neo in the 1-1 clutch couldn't pull it off. Great play from Henny, very disciplined, very patient. And we go into the final round here, but it's KNG with the AK-47 headshot. That's going to be their cue to go. This is classic Immortals now. Get one kill, fully commit, but Neo's not going down by the fight.
Flash high though, and they're still pushing. He's not going to have the gun drawn. He's not going to be ready in time for Lucas. Biawi now has all the pressure applied to him because he has no idea what's going on toward quad. He knows they're in the site. Actually, I'm not even sure he spotted both going through the smoke, so they're there, they're planting, and Lucas is watching him. And 11 rounds looks the likely score for Immortals. Smoke off in front of Library.
Yeah, well, no saving now. Last round, 4 versus 2 situation. Snacks and Taz without kids here as the bomb gets planted as well. Snacks found. Taz, you've got an impossible task ahead of you. Is there any chance you can make any sort of dent in this one?
Smoke down the first head of acid gap. He's already tagged. They're going to have heard that. They're going to know Lucas is swinging. They're spraying, and they'll find it. 11-4 for Immortals, an incredibly good half. You've got to give them credit. They controlled the pace the whole way through, and even when the economy got close, they won the important rounds, and they kept the momentum.
Just really nice game of CS from Immortals. I can't commend them enough for that. In terms of the defaults, the final plays, the baiting out of the utility from the CTs, controlling that money as well, reading that situation perfectly. They didn't lose anything to the pistols, really. They didn't lose any rounds to any Deagles, 5-7s, and that's very rare in CSGO to have a clean half like that. The one round they did lose to pistols when the double orbs was out, and we had a completely nuts round from Pasha. That's understandable. Those will happen from time to time, but still, they'll be very happy with that. 11-4 on the T half. A huge struggle now for Virtus.pro, but if ever there was a team to do it, and a major semi-final, this would be the 5 men you want on the server. Here are the highlights right now. You have Lucas doing some good work there on the A side, even more so that final kill on Taz. So, pistol buys come in, just before we get into it. 2 smokes, a few flashbangs here, Molotovs as well with 8 HE grenades, 3 of those, that's quite rare on the T side. They'll be using those towards Banana, presumably. This could be the straight up Banana commitment. If you get a kill with these HEs at the very start, you can just get into that B side. I'm sure that's what they'll be throwing them at the start. So the Lucas and Henny, quite a formidable duo, as indeed Virtus.pro do head in. The nades land, but no damage inflicted. It's a passive hold from the CT side.
Push aggressive, Neo jumps across. He's already actually bypassed Lucas, but not the twin brother Henny. And Lucas will find the second on entry. It's Biawi that goes down. Fast play from KNG to go for the flank. Snacks has to shut them both down. And he might. Oh, he might indeed! How does Snacks always find position? He is so sneaky, and with the bomb planted, he may have just saved them the round, and we're in a 2 versus 2. Oh! Found in the smoke by Henny as he gets aggressive. Crosshair placement, I think, may have revealed that because he was staring down the wall the whole time. Taz, not your usual suspect in a clutch, and then he gets shut down. It'll be 12 rounds for Immortals. Snacks did all that he could.
He thought that was enough, right? When he has those sort of plays, he lets people walk by him. And the discipline and the patience as well to find the 2. 1 bullet at the perfect time. Wasn't quite enough in the retake. Stellar from Immortals, I have to say. Lucas especially staying alive for that amount of time. He's the original B player. Goes to Ruins after finding 2 kills. Waits for his teammates, a shot through the smoke. I want to see that from his POV if we can. That seemed absolutely nuts. We'll see what happens here. His Snacks. It doesn't get much better than this. You think that's the round done. But no, it wasn't. It is indeed 12-4 now after winning the pistol. And we've got the force fight coming in from Virtus.pro. 1 AK-47 for Taz. Neo with the head armor as well. Not everyone commits, I'll be fine. So when we go to the first gun round, Taz probably goes down to a Tech 9. That's if they don't win this round. It's an audacious approach, we'll see if it works out, but it's up to Taz now to deliver something quite special at a desperate time.
They have to go for it. Pasha's already pushed down Rush and Banana. If they had a bit of crossfire established, which Taz does get at least 1, they could have capitalized on that. When they get out in the open at the top of the stairs, they'll smoke it off instead. Lucas sprays through to find 1. Thankfully, for the sake of Virtus.pro, it's not Taz on the AK that goes down. They will pick up the SMG that they pushed with. The first kill found against Henny left that in the open. And they'll adjust it, take the palm back over toward the apartment, stack position toward the balcony itself.
Still a 4-on-4. Time to work up here as well, but Not really much in terms of the old utility. It's going to be a nice position from Bolts there, but could get caught out. Nice HG at the BLA, take him down, doesn't work out. They've got to commit at this point, but Bolts mowing them down with the SMG. I think he's done enough. His teammates rotating as well, but still taken down. Snacks has a chance here with the AK-47. What on earth was that?
More than a chance. He picks up the AK from Taz and gets them all. Low HP found the headshot, and if we get the replay, watch the spray transfer. Lightning fast from Snacks, and they'll steal the round. Gets tagged, stays on 100 and down to 4 as he gets the second after hitting K&G. My God, that was fast.
Taz couldn't believe it. It's just like, what in God's name was that? Oh my goodness, they're back just when things are looking bleak. The AK-47, the solo AK, it's made an appearance here once at the major so far, and the hands are simple. It delivers once again. Snacks, that was something special. Round number 18, CZs, the Eagles 5-7s. It's a forced fight from Immortals in return, but Virtus.pro now. That's the lifeline they needed. It's got to take it round by round at this point. Immortals to try and give them the exact same treatment in return here. Can they do anything with the CZs?
Snacks is a hero. Sits with the AWP on the bait, almost gets the pistol round back, twice overlooked in that time.
Yeah, he's turned up the play today.
How fast was that? They wouldn't even known what hit them. K&G does go back out for one more. They've got to be careful because the SMG goes to an untradeable position at the arches. Taz tries to spray it down. Him backing off is going to cause for concern as well, because if he rotates to the library, what's going on around Moto? Where's the second player that's waiting to be pulled towards? Oh, touchdown with the nade. Snacks goes to 50. Check at the smoke, and rightfully so. But they'll back off. They don't have enough information to commit. They can't give away any guns. Lucas doesn't land with the deagle in hand. Smoke down, slows the play. 30 seconds to go, and Henny's gonna wait oranges 2, so a little bit further back. It means they're deeper in the sight by the time he's spotted. Push through, blinded up, but overlooked. The gap inside of the smoke cost them. Pasha's gotta push all the way around. Henny does get back in, and Lucas is joined. They've got it all in control. A pinch, a play with 15 seconds, and it's down to just Taz. The bomb still in hand. Low HP, gets the second, but Bolts is in better position with the AK picked up. And another round stolen back. Immortals regain control.
You could see Virtus.pro don't feel comfortable in those sort of rounds. The game plan wasn't as clean, wasn't as crisp as what the Immortals are bringing to the table on their anti-force buys. You could see they were trying to gain that map control, find the first pick. As soon as Immortals got their first kill, Virtus.pro went into panic mode. The smokes, I'm not really sure what they were going for there. You can see that doesn't really make much sense. There's lots of angles and gaps available for them. CTs weren't flashed. That was sloppy, unfortunately. As we round number 19, 13-5 has to be the force buy in return. Snacks, he's got the AK-47. Tech 9's around him, trying to find another wondrous play here, but I don't think it's going to happen because they're getting completely melted by the Molotovs here. Near down to 30 points of health, and the TT's looking to battle here as well.
Good find. They pull Henny out for the depths of the site, and he had no one with him. The problem is the gun's not yet grabbable. It is as soon as they go for entry. Smoke down to CT, that should be soon. Bolts. That's damage in. So much damage that Lucas is just going to be on cleanup, and that's exactly the case. So well controlled and contained again by the Brazilians. 14 rounds, 2 to go. And map
Problem
1 will be done.
Look at the money map. What do you do here? Pick your poison time, really. You either allow more, take an eco and allow Mortals to get to match point, or map point, I should say, with 10 in the bag. Or you force buy and try and steal it away. Like I said, they have to allow. They're not purchasing a single thing here. Glocks, 10 map points for Immortals. That's okay. If they somehow win their round of 1 PT50, I don't see a world of that happens, but we'll see if they can cause any sort of damage here.
And they go again. Fine from Taz. So they find the opening pick. That's not the problem. It's the guns and the lack thereof. As Taz gets steal as well, Bolts is still able to resume the lead for Immortals. Pick your poison. Poison will be played for overtime at this point, unless Taz does something, I would say, even bigger than what Snacks did in New York at this point. Goes all the way back down to the bottom of the alt mid. Bomb's dropped as well at the bottom of Banana. That's not even the concern at this point for Immortals, because that's fine to know where the bomb is. They know where he is, so they're just controlling it on the map. Real escape. Young Brazilians have looked remarkably solid in this game.
Yeah,
good read from Taz. Good read from Taz because he does shoot toward the top of mid and then baits in the second player, Bolts, who's going to give him a gun to work with. It's the last thing you want to give Taz right now. Tag onto Henny as well.
He's got time to win this. There is a chance. He's got 3 kills so far. Immortals, who have been so sound in terms of their anti-force buy approaches so far, giving a little bit too much away. They're still fine. The bomb's still down at Banana. One of them locking him in at T-spawn as well. Top of B will be Henny. He's got the M4 in hand, and Taz, he's just hoping that someone makes a mistake here. I don't think he gets this.
It's peculiar positioning from Lucas. The timing, I think, is going to be off because Taz went to top mid. Lucas was expecting him to go down towards spawn across. Thankfully, he gets back, so they have an angle to watch both, and he does catch Taz. Best efforts, good attempt. Getting the AK nearly made it possible.
And it's not going to be a popular opinion in this building, Matt, but you have to think back to the rounds Virtus.pro have won so far. None of them have really been that convincing. It's all hero plays from one way or the other. Right? The double up set up, the 3 kills through smoke. Snacks going nuts towards the B site, and they haven't really arrived in Inferno. It's been some really exciting moments for them, but Immortals have looked at the better side so far. This is their map pick, and we'll see whether Virtus.pro can maybe bounce back from this one. I'm not sure 10 rounds to be possible at this point, but we'll see what they can do. Round number 21. 5 AK-47s. Smoke's available. Flashbangs there as well. Double AWP set up there. This is where Immortals are the most deadly. KNG and Henny holding lines. Flashy plays, and Henny, he's delivering the first shot, taking down Neo.
Beginning to an end and a ceaseless stumbling on. They'll go back toward the same position. Henny wants more. Good timing on the flash. Looks down to avoid the second one, which isn't common on an AWP to move so quickly. And he gets the shot on Pasha as well. Jumps over further information, goes for the wall on Snacks. 2 men down and no map control for Virtus.pro. No round aside from an eco in the second for VP. Snacks gets a little bit of banana control to work with. Taz and Biawi, though, go back toward A, which has not yet been contested too often or commonly. And KNG on the second AWP is in a position where he's going to get smoked off at Arch. That pushes him back, but it still means they have to confront him eventually. Look at Snacks' lurk, though. Double smoke. This could be huge. This could be everything for Snacks. Lucas is going to have no idea. He's opened up position. Bomb's heading back toward B. If he gets the second kill as well, oh, he doesn't realize he's not going to go for Henny. He's going to actually cut off rotations, but doesn't get the gun in time. A bit of confusion on the call. I think Bialy was hoping they would rotate back over toward B. If he just circled to find Henny, they may have opened B, but now it's all to play for. 4 versus 2, 4 versus 1, and it's all going to be done. Bolts gives Immortal the win. Map 1 in a best of 3, it's 2 to go. But it might not even get that far if they keep playing as they are.
Yeah, unfortunately with Virtus.pro, as I mentioned, just for that one concluded. In terms of their general approach, it seemed that they were lacking. The rounds they were winning was down to some amazing plays from individuals. It wasn't a team effort. It felt like 16-5, that kind of tells the whole story. Sure, we had some really hype moments there, some crazy kind of rounds that were unexpected and some really clever stuff from Snacks, but generally, Immortals, they did a lot of the better side, and that's understandable. They have beaten one of the best teams at this event on that map earlier. They looked great throughout. And the T-side especially, I was just very happy with the general approach. It's nice default play. As I mentioned, I was hoping the banana rush comes in. Just as they're getting used to what you're doing, they take a pause, you throw that banana rush in, and it actually set the tone throughout. They were in complete control of that game. Some amazing moments from Virtus.pro, to be fair. It's nice to see them. It's quite promising, I think, knowing that Snacks is playing like that today. And we move on to Mirage next, and I think that's when they start arriving potentially.
I mean, hopefully, yeah. It's a map they're known for. Again, Snacks is a player who always shows up on it and very, very creative. But I don't know about you, Henry. Either I need to stop drinking tequila or get your deodorant to sponsor me, or we're going to go back to the desk and Paul.
Yeah, it does look pretty hot out there, Matt. I hope you get a chance to get a break in between the two maps. Game 1 goes the way of the Brazilians. They move to just 1 map away from playing in their first ever major final against Gambit. Can Virtus.pro come back? I'm sure that the crowd are certainly hoping so. They're going to take a break, clear their heads, and perhaps set their sights on the second map. We've done the same thing here at the panel with Moses and Yanko to break things down. Yanko, we'll start with you. That's a great performance by Immortals on Inferno.
Absolutely, spectacular one, and especially by Lucas, who had a great game individually, but just the way that Immortals approached the game is the way they were supposed to do it, without any fear. You saw a lot of contact plays, grouping up, even trying to end rounds early and then throwing in 1 or 2 very slow rounds to just change the pace pretty much, and VP needs to realize Immortals are not just going to roll over and die here because of them playing in front of their home crowd. Like, they cannot afford to underestimate them. They need to step up their game and treat them like an actual contender, an actual opponent.
Didn't seem too affected by the crowd though, Immortals, did they?
Well, they silenced them pretty quick, and they kept them quiet for the most part, always responding, and that was the thing. Virtus.pro got into this economic hell, and we always talk about how important the economy is across pretty much every map in Counter-Strike. It's a huge portion of the game, but the reason why Inferno is called, you know, Kerrigan in an interview said, economy is king on Inferno, and because the reason for that is once Immortals has control of it, Virtus.pro is forced to play so passive because you don't have utility. You can't do the pop flash peaks that could slow down the contact plays. That would have been a great counter for it if they could just find some timing. They had so many rounds where Immortals were just able to walk up into choke points, but they can't do that because they don't have the utility. They can't challenge top mid control because they don't have the smokes, they don't have the Molotovs and the flashes to fall back if needed if they do get pressured. And Immortals was just able to take advantage of all of it. That defense over at the A bomb site was so passive into so late into the half. The only really effective thing that Virtus.pro seemed to have going for them on the defensive side of things was the AWPs, was Snacks and Pasha when they had the ops. I mean, there was a brilliant run from Pasha, and Snacks over at B a couple times got some picks, but that's just not enough, especially considering it's the most expensive weapon in the game.
You can see the Immortals team didn't celebrate quite as animatedly as they usually do. There was a little bit more reservedness in there because they know there's only half the job done.
Which is very scary, right? Because, you know, that means they're just treating this, you know, this is just the first step. We need to, you know, win one of the remaining 2 maps and we're in the grand final. They really do seem more control and more focused, like, than what we're used to from them usually.
This team has grown. We've seen them grown since the major qualifier when they were like that. When Steel was saying, you know, we do shut down and our comms do get bad and we do have to rely on pure emotion and make sure we're playing at the best that we possibly can. This is starting to look like a whole different team.
It is, isn't it? I wonder if some advice from other Brazilians has been coming their way over the last couple of days. The scoreboard presented to you by Boomio is on your screen right now. Shows Lucas with what doesn't look that flashy, 25-8, but 1.88 KD and then 111.3 ADR in there. That's a monster game.
It's very reminiscent from the match we just saw, right? The other semifinal where Mo had that incredible game on the first map. This is another player. I mean, I mentioned he'd done it a couple times, but still surprising to see Lucas at the top here.
And what you hate to see is Bialy and Snacks at the bottom of the scoreboard on the side of VP, not just because they're the ones expected to carry the most weight, but also you look at the positions, right? Bialy towards that pit area, towards A with Neo. That's where VP was struggling a lot with the explosive plays from Immortals out of the A apartments with just a simple pop flash, and then Snacks towards B. Yes, he would like get an op entry kill sometimes, but then he would re-peek unnecessarily, you know, give that advantage away. He wanted to be aggressive, wanted to be effective, wanted to try and give his team an opening, but more often than not, he was getting shut down.
Yeah, I mean, there were some highlights from Pasha. There was some great play by Neo occasionally, and Taz put 17 on the board. And I know when he watches this back, he'll probably message me and say, I don't care that I top scored. It makes no difference we lost the game. But at least he's having a good game.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what it took for VP to win even those 2 gun rounds, was highlight rounds from both Neo and Pasha. Early on, you do feel that the round that broke them, now that you look back at the game, was round number 6 after Immortals had that weird slow round where they saved 2 guns and then they forced because of the saved guns, and VP just kind of got overwhelmed on that A bomb site. They forced back themselves, lost that round, and that gives the control of the economy to Immortals.
The MVP for this one is Lucas, as we said earlier, 25-8, 16 of those are headshots, 110 ADR and a 1.88 impact rating, 4 opening kills and 3 retakes in the middle of that.
He just had a great game in terms of, you know, throwing caution to the wind at time. He was a big reason why they were able to take some of those bomb sites. I mean, just really being aggressive, taking once that go came in from the team, he was leading the way, or he was second. He was making sure he gets that trade frag, turning the corner on Rap side, making sure he gets the kill, and just, I mean, that's the thing, leading the way and making that space happen for everyone following up behind you. It was brilliant from Lucas. He did great.
And this is now the tricky part, right? Talking about Mirage. Yes, this is where VP is the big favorite, but you look at the structure of Mirage as a map. It really does allow for individual plays, for scrappy, chaotic Counter-Strike, and that's how Immortals have to play, especially on their T side, if they want to have a chance of this map. It was always like that for them, but before they had Phelps, who was really a master of utilizing that window area, catwalk, moving through smokes, and so on. Now it's up to some of the other players to try and have an impact, but this is not one of those maps where VP can just, through sheer team play, kind of dominate dominate their opponents like they can on perhaps Nuke or Train.
Yes, we are headed to a break. When we come back, though, we will, of course, have our second map. Will it be the second and final map? Crowd here are certainly hoping it won't be, because Virtus.pro still need 2.